Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that everything you desire, everything you long for in your life could be yours in just 90 days? What if I told you that the life you dream of can be created within the span of 3 months, simply by shifting your mindset and taking intentional action every single day? In the next few minutes, I want to share with you the profound truth that you are the creator of your own reality and the power to change everything. Your thoughts, your health, your relationships, and your life is within you right now. The only thing standing between you and the transformation you seek is the decision to start today. The decision to choose change over comfort. The decision to trust in your ability to heal and evolve. But you don't need years. You don't need decades. You have 90 days to change everything. It begins now. It begins with understanding the power you already possess. The power of your thoughts is not merely a philosophical idea or an abstract concept. It's a fundamental truth that shapes your entire experience of life. Everything you perceive, everything you feel, and every action you take is a direct result of the thoughts you think. In fact, it's often said that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. If you begin to recognize that your thoughts are shaping your reality, you unlock the ability to create a completely new life for yourself. Our minds are constantly thinking. It is estimated that the average person has somewhere between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts each day, most of them repeating themselves from the day before. These thoughts are so automatic that we often don't realize they are driving our behavior, shaping our emotional states, and determining the trajectory of our lives. But the truth is, these thoughts, whether they are positive, neutral, or negative, are the foundation of everything that happens in your world. The good news is you have the power to change them, and by doing so, you can change your entire life. When you think a thought, it produces a corresponding emotion. Emotions are powerful signals. They are the body's way of confirming that the thoughts you are having are either in alignment with your desires or in opposition to them. For example, when you think about a joyful experience, your body produces feelings of happiness, excitement, or love. On the other hand, when you think about something negative, whether it's a past event or a fear about the future, your body reacts with stress, anxiety, or sadness. The key to creating lasting change in your life lies in understanding that your thoughts are not just passive occurrences. They are actively creating your emotional and physiological states. Your brain is constantly wired to react to external stimuli, but you also have the ability to wire it to respond in different, more productive ways. You are not simply a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your thoughts, and through conscious choice, you can direct the flow of those thoughts toward what you desire. One of the most profound realizations you can have is that your thoughts don't simply reflect your current reality. They create it. This concept might seem radical at first, but when you begin to observe the thoughts that occupy your mind daily, you'll start to notice a clear pattern between your inner dialogue and the life you are living. If you are constantly thinking thoughts of scarcity, lack, and fear, you will experience those very things in your life. If you think about opportunities, abundance, and success, you will start attracting those experiences as well. Your thoughts are like the blueprint for your future. They define what you believe is possible, what you expect, and what you allow into your life. At the core of this idea is the recognition that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant in its creation. Every thought you think is a seed that will eventually grow into something, whether that be an opportunity, a challenge, a moment of peace, or a moment of struggle. The more consistently you think about something, the more you are reinforcing the neural pathways in your brain that support that thought. These pathways become your habits, your beliefs, and ultimately your reality. Take a moment to think about the power of habit. Your habits, whether they are mental, emotional, or behavioral, are the product of repeated thought patterns. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to slip into certain thought patterns, especially when you are faced with stress or difficult situations? This is because your brain has formed neural connections that make these thoughts feel automatic. However, the key to lasting transformation is the ability to disrupt these automatic thought patterns and replace them with new, empowering ones. The great news is that the brain is neuroplastic, which means it has the ability to change and form new connections throughout your life. If you want to change your reality, you must change your thought patterns. It requires conscious effort, practice, and discipline, but it is entirely possible. You can begin by becoming aware of the thoughts that dominate your mind. When you catch yourself thinking a negative or limiting thought, you can choose to interrupt it and replace it with a more empowering one. For example, if you think, "I'll never be able to do this," you can consciously choose to replace that thought with, "I am capable of learning and growing through challenges." The more you practice this, the more you will begin to notice a shift in your emotional state. You will begin to feel lighter, more optimistic, and more empowered. And as you continue to choose new thoughts, you will begin to notice that your life starts to shift as well. The experiences that once seemed out of reach will begin to feel more attainable, and the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will begin to feel more like opportunities for growth. This process is not about denying your negative thoughts or emotions. It's about recognizing them, understanding where they come from, and choosing to shift your focus to something that is more in alignment with your desired future. Negative thoughts are not the problem. They are simply a sign that you are focused on what you don't want. The real power lies in your ability to pivot, to redirect your thoughts toward what you do want, and to consistently focus on those new possibilities. The next time you find yourself caught in a negative thought spiral, ask yourself, what would I rather focus on? In doing so, you begin the process of rewiring your brain to focus on the possibilities instead of the limitations. And as you consistently choose thoughts that support your goals and desires, you will begin to attract experiences, people, and opportunities that are aligned with your new way of thinking. When you choose to think differently, you are not only changing your mental state, you are also changing your energy. Your thoughts have a direct impact on your emotions, and your emotions are what drive your actions. When you think positively and in alignment with your desires, your energy shifts, and that shift sends a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive the things you want. This is how the law of attraction works. It's not about wishing for something to happen. It's about aligning your energy with the things you want to bring into your life. In conclusion, the power of your thoughts cannot be overstated. You have the ability to change your life, not by changing your circumstances, but by changing the way you think. By recognizing that your thoughts create your reality, you empower yourself to take control of your life and to transform it into something greater. It's not a magic trick or a quick fix. It's a process. But with consistent effort and the courage to think differently, you can change everything in your life. Starting today, the moment you realize the power of your thoughts is the moment you begin to realize that you are the creator of your destiny. The subconscious mind is one of the most powerful and influential aspects of our existence, often operating just beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. It is the vast hidden reservoir of memories, beliefs, emotions, and past experiences that guide our daily behaviors, actions, and reactions. In fact, research suggests that the subconscious mind governs roughly 95% of our thoughts and actions, which means that most of the decisions we make, the habits we follow, and even the challenges we face are influenced by our subconscious programming. If we understand how the subconscious works, we can unlock the potential to reprogram it and change the course of our lives. One of the most significant things to realize is that the subconscious mind operates in a highly automatic manner. It is like a computer that runs background processes without the need for conscious intervention. Every experience we encounter leaves an impression on our subconscious. Whether it is a positive or negative experience, whether we are aware of it or not, that experience becomes stored in the subconscious mind. The more frequent and intense these experiences are, the more they become deeply embedded as beliefs or patterns that influence how we view ourselves and the world around us. For instance, if you were raised in an environment where financial scarcity was a constant concern, your subconscious mind would internalize the belief that money is hard to come by and that success is difficult to achieve. Over time, these beliefs would begin to inform your conscious thoughts, behaviors, and actions, even if you consciously desire to achieve financial success. Your subconscious programming, built from past experiences, may cause you to resist opportunities, self-sabotage, or fear taking the necessary steps toward financial abundance. The beauty of the subconscious mind, however, is that it is not static. It is highly malleable and can be reprogrammed. But to change the beliefs and patterns that reside in the subconscious, we must first recognize the role that the subconscious plays in shaping our lives. A major key to transformation is the awareness that most of the thoughts, habits, and behaviors we are living are not a result of conscious decision making, but are instead based on pre-existing subconscious patterns. This process begins with self-awareness. When you can observe your automatic behaviors and mental responses without judgment, you begin to peel back the layers of your subconscious programming. This might involve recognizing when you react in certain ways without thinking, or when you engage in self-limiting behaviors such as procrastination, perfectionism, or even fear of success. Once you start noticing these patterns, the next step is to challenge them and bring conscious awareness to them. For example, when you find yourself procrastinating, you can consciously ask yourself, why am I avoiding this task? Is it because I fear failure or because I don't believe I am capable of succeeding? By bringing awareness to your subconscious programming, you can begin to change it. Another important aspect of working with the subconscious mind is understanding that it communicates with you primarily through emotions and feelings. Whenever you feel a strong emotional reaction to something, whether it's positive or negative, it's a signal that your subconscious mind is activated. What it is. If you feel anxiety, for example, it could be a sign that a past experience is influencing your present behavior. If you feel excited and confident, it may indicate that you are aligned with positive, empowering beliefs. Emotions are the bridge between the conscious and subconscious minds. They give us a window into the underlying beliefs that are influencing our current experience. By paying attention to how we feel in different situations, we can uncover limiting subconscious beliefs and work to replace them with more empowering ones. One of the most powerful tools for reprogramming the subconscious is repetition. The subconscious mind learns best through repetition, and the more consistently you engage in a new thought or behavior, the more it becomes ingrained in your subconscious. Just as negative patterns can be formed over time through repetitive negative thoughts and experiences, positive new habits and beliefs can be formed by consistently thinking or acting in new ways. For example, if you want to cultivate a belief of abundance, you could practice affirmations daily, such as, I am worthy of wealth and success. Repeating these words over time will begin to challenge the old limiting beliefs you have about money and replace them with new empowering beliefs. And eventually, these new beliefs will become automatic and will begin to guide your actions and decisions. Meditation and mindfulness are also incredibly effective ways to access and influence the subconscious mind. Meditation allows you to quiet the chatter of the conscious mind and enter a relaxed state in which the subconscious can be more receptive to change. In this state, you can visualize your goals and outcomes, reinforce positive beliefs, and release old emotional patterns. Visualization is a particularly powerful tool for reprogramming the subconscious mind because it engages both the conscious and subconscious minds. When you vividly imagine a positive outcome, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts the new mental images as truth, and over time this will begin to reflect in your external reality. Affirmations also play a key role in reprogramming the subconscious. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself in order to replace negative or limiting beliefs with more empowering ones. When you affirm something with conviction and repetition, it becomes ingrained in the subconscious. For example, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, you could repeat to yourself, I am capable, worthy, and deserving of success. Over time, your subconscious will begin to accept this new belief, and it will influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors to align with that belief. Another method to reprogram your subconscious mind is through hypnosis. Hypnosis is a technique that allows you to access a deep, relaxed state where the subconscious mind is highly receptive to suggestion. In this state, you can work with a trained practitioner or use self-hypnosis to introduce new positive beliefs and suggestions that will overwrite the old, limiting ones. Hypnosis can be an extremely effective tool for breaking through deeply rooted subconscious programming and creating lasting change. Ultimately, reprogramming the subconscious mind requires commitment, patience, and consistent effort. But the rewards are profound. By taking the time to examine your subconscious programming and consciously choose new, empowering beliefs, you can change the way you think, feel, and behave. You can break free from the automatic, limiting patterns that have held you back and create a new reality based on your desires and goals. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools we have for transforming our lives, yet it is often misunderstood or underappreciated. Many people think of meditation as simply sitting quietly for a few minutes, trying to clear the mind. While this is certainly a part of the process, the true power of meditation goes much deeper. Meditation is a tool for transformation, physical, mental, and emotional. It allows you to access states of being that are not possible in the everyday busyness of life. Through meditation, you can harness the power of the mind to create new neural pathways, shift your energy, and align your thoughts and emotions with your highest vision for your life. The primary benefit of meditation is that it helps you to quiet the constant chatter of the conscious mind. We live in a world full of distractions, and our minds are constantly bombarded with information. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we are constantly processing external stimuli, which keeps us in a heightened state of stress and overdrive. This fight or flight mode is not conducive to healing or growth. It blocks our ability to tap into the deeper layers of our consciousness, where transformation begins. When you meditate, you give yourself permission to step out of this cycle of mental noise. Meditation allows you to enter a deeply relaxed state where the body can rest and heal, and the mind can shift into a more balanced, peaceful state. It's in this peaceful state that real change happens. Studies have shown that meditation can change the structure of the brain, particularly in areas associated with emotional regulation, focus, and well-being. Over time, with consistent practice, you can increase the brain's ability to adapt to new situations, process emotions more effectively, and even improve physical health. One of the most profound benefits of meditation is its ability to create coherence between the brain and the heart. In our everyday lives, we often act from a place of stress or fear, and this creates a dissonance between our thoughts and emotions. This dissonance can lead to confusion, frustration, and a sense of being disconnected from our true selves. Meditation, however, helps to synchronize the brain and heart, allowing us to think and feel in alignment with our deepest desires and goals. In meditation, we also gain access to the power of the subconscious mind. As mentioned earlier, the subconscious mind is a major influence on our lives, often dictating our behavior, actions, and emotions without us being fully aware of it. Through meditation, we can quiet the conscious mind and enter a state where the subconscious is more receptive to new ideas, beliefs, and perspectives. This is a powerful opportunity to reprogram the mind, release old patterns, and create new neural pathways that align with our highest potential. In addition, meditation is an effective tool for managing stress. Stress is one of the most significant factors contributing to disease and imbalance in the body. When we are stressed, our bodies release cortisol and other stress hormones, which can negatively affect our physical health over time. Meditation helps to lower the levels of these stress hormones and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and healing. By practicing meditation regularly, we can reduce the impact of stress on our bodies, promoting overall health and well-being. Another key aspect of meditation is its ability to increase our emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the ability to empathize with others. Meditation allows us to become more aware of our emotional responses to various situations. As we become more aware of our emotions, we can begin to recognize patterns and triggers that may not have been obvious before. This awareness gives us the power to respond to our emotions consciously, rather than reacting impulsively, which leads to greater emotional balance and more harmonious relationships. Visualization is also a key component of meditation. Many meditation practices involve guiding the mind to visualize positive outcomes, healing, or success. Visualization is incredibly powerful because the subconscious mind does not distinguish between a real experience and one vividly imagined. When you visualize your goals or dreams as if they have already come true, you are programming your subconscious mind to believe that these outcomes are not only possible, but inevitable. The more you engage in positive visualization during meditation, the more your brain and body align with your desired outcomes. It's important to note that meditation is not a one-time fix. It is a consistent practice that yields cumulative benefits over time. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body, meditation strengthens the mind and spirit. You don't need to meditate for hours each day to experience its benefits. Even a few minutes each day can make a significant impact. The key is consistency and dedication. Over time, as you deepen your meditation practice, you will begin to notice subtle changes in your thoughts, emotions, and overall sense of well-being. There are many different types of meditation, each offering unique benefits. Mindfulness meditation, for example, focuses on staying present in the moment and observing thoughts without judgment. Loving kindness meditation cultivates compassion and empathy, both for oneself and others. Guided meditation, often led by an instructor or through an audio recording, helps you visualize specific outcomes or healing, regardless of the type. The key is to find a practice that resonates with you and makes you feel at peace. The truth is that meditation is not just a spiritual practice. It is a tool for personal transformation. It allows you to tap into the power of your mind to create a reality that aligns with your desires. Through meditation, you can reprogram your subconscious mind, heal emotional wounds, reduce stress, improve your health, and increase your emotional intelligence. It is one of the most effective ways to cultivate inner peace and create lasting change in your life. In conclusion, meditation is not merely a relaxation technique. It is a transformative practice that helps you access deeper levels of consciousness, reprogram your subconscious mind, and align your thoughts and emotions with your highest vision for your life. It is an essential tool for anyone who is serious about personal growth, healing, and manifesting their dreams into reality. By incorporating meditation into your daily routine, you can create lasting, positive change in every area of your life. The present moment is where all of your power resides. In fact, the only moment that truly exists is the one you are experiencing right now. Yet so many people spend their lives either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. The past is full of memories and experiences that have already happened and can no longer be changed. The future, on the other hand, is uncertain and unknown. And while planning and reflecting are important, it's easy to lose sight of the present moment, which is where true transformation takes place. The ability to live fully in the present moment is one of the most important skills you can develop if you want to change your life. It is in the present moment where you can make decisions, take actions, and choose your responses. It is in the present moment where you can begin to break free from old patterns and create new possibilities for yourself. The present moment is a point of power, and when you learn to tap into it, you begin to experience life with greater clarity, purpose, and peace. The mind, however, is often constantly racing, moving from thought to thought without pause. It is easy to get lost in the thoughts and emotions about what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. But here's the key. The past no longer has power over you unless you allow it to. The future is merely a projection of your thoughts and fears. Only in the present moment can you truly make an impact. When you focus on the present, you give yourself the ability to create change. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment with full awareness. It means being conscious of your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations as they arise, without judgment. Mindfulness allows you to be fully engaged in what you are doing, rather than operating on autopilot. It requires you to let go of distractions and bring your attention to the here and now. Mindfulness is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice that requires discipline and consistency. But when you commit to practicing mindfulness, you begin to notice how often your mind is pulled away from the present moment. You begin to see how your thoughts habitually wander to past regrets or future anxieties. And you can start to catch yourself before you spiral into old patterns. When you catch yourself, you can gently bring your focus back to the present moment, which strengthens your ability to stay grounded in the now. One of the main reasons why staying present is so powerful is that it frees you from the limitations of the past. So many of us are influenced by our past experiences, often unconsciously. We carry the weight of old stories, memories, and regrets that shape how we view ourselves and the world around us. These memories can create limiting beliefs that hold us back from living the life we truly desire. However, by focusing on the present moment, we give ourselves permission to release these old stories and stop letting them dictate our behavior. For example, if you were to constantly dwell on a past failure or mistake, it might stop you from taking action in the present. Your mind might say, "I failed before, so I will probably fail again." But when you bring your attention to the present moment, you can acknowledge the past without letting it control you. You can say, "Yes, that happened, but I am not my past. I can choose to act differently now." By focusing on the present, you detach from the story of the past and open yourself up to new possibilities. The present moment also allows you to transcend the fear of the future. It's easy to get caught up in anxiety about what might happen or what could go wrong. But the future is never guaranteed. Worrying about the future only robs you of the energy and focus you need to take action in the present. When you focus on what is happening right now, you begin to recognize that the present is all you truly have control over. Instead of worrying about what might happen, you can focus on what you can do today to bring yourself closer to your goals and desires. This shift from future anxiety to present-focused action is one of the most empowering things you can do. When you stay present, you eliminate the paralyzing effect that fear of the unknown has on you. You learn to act based on the opportunities available to you right now, rather than postponing action until the future feels right or when everything seems to be aligned. The truth is, the future will never feel perfect, and waiting for ideal circumstances will often leave you stuck in a cycle of inaction. The only time to act is now, in the present moment. Living in the present moment also enhances your ability to experience joy. When you're fully immersed in the now, you are able to appreciate the beauty around you, small moments of happiness, and the simple pleasures that often go unnoticed. For instance, when you truly focus on a conversation with a loved one, rather than letting your mind wander to other thoughts, you create a deeper connection and experience more fulfillment. When you savor your food with full awareness, you taste every bite and can appreciate the nourishment it provides. By living in the present, you bring yourself closer to the richness of life, rather than letting it pass by in a blur. One way to practice staying present is through deep breathing. Breathing is an anchor to the present moment. By focusing on your breath, you can calm the mind and bring your attention back to what is happening right now. Whether you're sitting quietly, walking, or even in the middle of a busy day, taking a few deep breaths can help you reset and reconnect with the present moment. It's a simple but powerful tool that can help you shift out of stress or distraction and back into your center. Another practice to enhance presence is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful way to stay focused on the present because it forces you to notice what you already have rather than focusing on what you lack. When you take time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for, you become more attuned to the positive aspects of your current reality. This practice helps to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance and from future worry to present satisfaction. Being present also opens you up to the intuitive guidance that is always available to you. When you are in the present moment, you are more attuned to your inner wisdom, which can guide you in making decisions that align with your highest good. The more you practice staying present, the more you will develop trust in your intuition and the deeper you will be able to access your inner knowing. Ultimately, living in the present moment is a way to reclaim your power. It allows you to free yourself from the grip of past regrets and future fears. It enables you to focus on what you can do right now to create the life you desire. By practicing mindfulness, breathing, and gratitude, you strengthen your ability to stay present and centered. When you master the present moment, you unlock the door to unlimited possibilities and begin to live a life of greater joy, peace, and fulfillment. The concept of emotional mastery is often misunderstood, yet it is one of the most important aspects of personal transformation and growth. Our emotions are not something we should fear or suppress. Rather, they are a natural part of being human and a powerful tool for self-discovery and change. Emotions provide us with valuable information about how we are interacting with the world, and they can be a source of strength and clarity if we learn to manage them effectively. One of the biggest misconceptions about emotions is that we must control them or push them away in order to be strong or successful. In reality, emotional mastery is not about suppression, but rather about awareness, acceptance, and conscious choice. When we develop emotional mastery, we gain the ability to recognize our emotions without being overwhelmed by them, and we can choose how to respond in ways that serve our growth and well-being. To master your emotions, you first need to understand that emotions are energy and motion. They are not permanent states, but temporary reactions to stimuli, thoughts, and experiences. Emotions arise in response to our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. For instance, if you have a belief that something or someone is threatening your well-being, you may feel fear or anxiety. If you believe that something is unfair or unjust, you may feel anger. These emotional responses are not random. They are the body's way of alerting you to what is happening on a deeper level. However, emotions can sometimes become habitual, repeating over time based on old beliefs and patterns, and we can find ourselves reacting in ways that no longer serve us. The key to emotional mastery is awareness. This means becoming conscious of your emotional responses as they arise rather than reacting automatically. For example, when you feel anger or frustration, instead of immediately reacting by raising your voice or shutting down, you can pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? What is this emotion trying to tell me? When you pause to examine your emotions, you create a space for reflection. In this space, you can choose how to respond with clarity rather than being driven by unconscious impulses. One way to practice emotional awareness is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment with non-judgmental awareness. When you bring mindfulness to your emotions, you create a deeper connection with your inner experience. You begin to notice patterns and triggers that may have gone unnoticed before. For example, you might realize that you tend to feel anxious in certain situations, such as when you are about to give a presentation or meet new people. By noticing this, you can begin to identify the underlying beliefs or fears that are causing this anxiety. This awareness gives you the power to question and reframe those beliefs, allowing you to choose a different emotional response. Another key aspect of emotional mastery is acceptance. Often, people try to push away emotions they deem as negative, such as sadness, anger, or fear. They may suppress these emotions because they view them as bad or weak. However, suppression only leads to emotional buildup and over time can cause emotional and physical issues. Emotional acceptance is about allowing yourself to feel what you feel without judgment. When you accept your emotions, you allow them to move through you, rather than resisting them. This doesn't mean you are giving into negative emotions or wallowing in them. It simply means that you are acknowledging your emotional experience as it is, without trying to change it in the moment. For example, if you feel sadness, instead of pushing it away or pretending it doesn't exist, you can acknowledge it by saying to yourself, I feel sad right now, and that is okay. I'm allowed to feel this. By accepting your emotions, you reduce the internal resistance and create the space for healing and growth. Once you accept your emotions, you can begin to explore their deeper meaning and use that insight to make positive changes in your life. A powerful tool for emotional mastery is the practice of reframing. Reframing involves changing the way you perceive a situation, which in turn changes the emotional response to that situation. When you learn to reframe your thoughts and perceptions, you gain the ability to transform negative emotions into constructive ones. For example, if you feel anger because you were passed over for a promotion, you can reframe the situation by asking yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Is this an opportunity to grow, develop new skills, or pursue other opportunities? By shifting your perspective, you change the emotional charge attached to the event, and you begin to see it as a chance for growth rather than a setback. In addition to reframing, another essential aspect of emotional mastery is learning how to express your emotions healthily. Suppressing emotions does not serve your well-being, but neither does acting out or exploding with unchecked emotions. Healthy emotional expression involves communicating your feelings in a way that is authentic, respectful, and constructive. This might mean talking to someone you trust, journaling your thoughts and feelings, or finding creative outlets like art or music. Expressing your emotions in healthy ways allows you to release emotional tension and gain clarity about what is happening inside you. It is also important to develop emotional resilience, which is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges. Life is full of ups and downs, and emotional mastery does not mean you will never experience negative emotions. Rather, it means you have the ability to navigate difficult emotions without being consumed by them. Emotional resilience involves recognizing that emotions are temporary and that you have the power to move through them rather than allowing them to define your state of being. By developing resilience, you can face challenges with greater ease and maintain emotional balance even in the face of adversity. A key to emotional resilience is cultivating a positive mindset. When you focus on the positive aspects of life, even in difficult situations, you build emotional strength. For example, if you are facing a tough situation at work, instead of focusing on the stress or frustration, you can focus on the lessons you are learning and the growth you are experiencing. By consciously choosing a positive perspective, you shift your emotional state, which in turn affects your behavior and reactions. The more you practice this mindset, the more resilient you become in the face of life's challenges. Another way to strengthen emotional resilience is through self-care. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health ensures that you have the energy and resources to cope with stress and difficult emotions. Self-care might involve activities such as exercise, eating nourishing foods, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies that bring you joy. When you prioritize self-care, you create a foundation of emotional strength that allows you to handle life's challenges with greater ease. Ultimately, emotional mastery is about learning to respond to your emotions with wisdom and clarity. It involves recognizing the messages that your emotions are sending you, accepting them without judgment, and choosing how to act in ways that promote your growth and well-being. When you master your emotions, you empower yourself to live a life of greater peace, resilience, and fulfillment. Emotional mastery is not about eliminating negative emotions or pretending to be happy all the time. It is about cultivating emotional awareness, acceptance, and constructive expression. When you develop emotional mastery, you unlock your ability to live with more authenticity and emotional freedom, which leads to a greater sense of peace, joy, and success. The power of habit is one of the most profound forces in shaping our lives. Habits, both conscious and unconscious, dictate much of what we think, say, and do on a daily basis. They are the invisible framework that holds our lives together, often driving us in ways we don't even realize. The good news is that habits are not fixed. They are learned behaviors that can be changed. By understanding how habits are formed and how they function, we can begin to break free from the patterns that no longer serve us and replace them with new, empowering habits that align with our highest potential. At the heart of habit formation is the concept of repetition. When we repeatedly engage, there becomes more ways that make the behavior easier to repeat. You repeat, easier to repeat, to repeat. Over time, this is why habits can feel so ingrained. They are the result of consistent repetition over time. The more we engage in a particular action or thought, the more it becomes hardwired into our brain. This process can work both in our favor and against us. On the one hand, we can develop positive habits that propel us toward our goals, such as exercising regularly, eating nutritious foods, or practicing mindfulness. On the other hand, we can also develop negative habits, such as procrastination, negative self-talk, or unhealthy coping mechanisms. These habits can become so ingrained that we often operate on autopilot, reacting to situations based on old patterns, rather than making conscious choices. The first step in transforming your habits is awareness. The key to breaking free from old patterns is to become aware of the habits you currently have, both positive and negative. Start by paying attention to your daily routines and behaviors. What actions do you take automatically each day? What thoughts do you consistently repeat to yourself? Do any of these habits hold you back or keep you stuck in old ways of thinking or being? By identifying your current habits, you can gain a better understanding of how they are influencing your life. Once you have awareness, the next step is to make a conscious decision to change the habits that no longer serve you. It's important to recognize that change doesn't happen overnight. Habits take time to form, and they also take time to break. The brain's neural pathways must be rewired through consistent effort and repetition. When you choose to adopt a new habit, you are essentially creating a new neural pathway that competes with the old one. The more you practice the new habit, the stronger that neural pathway becomes, and eventually it will replace the old one. One powerful strategy for creating new habits is to start small. Trying to make dramatic changes all at once can be overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, focus on making incremental changes that you can consistently maintain. For example, if you want to develop the habit of exercising regularly, start with just a few minutes each day. As you consistently engage in this small action, it will become easier and you can gradually increase the duration or intensity of your workouts. The key is consistency. Even small actions, when repeated regularly, can lead to significant change over time. Another important aspect of habit formation is understanding the role of triggers. Every habit has a trigger cue that signals your brain to engage in a specific behavior. The trigger could be a time of day, an emotional state, or a specific event. For example, you may have developed the habit of reaching for a snack every time you feel stressed or anxious. In this case, stress or anxiety is the trigger for the habit of eating. To change the habit, it is important to identify the trigger and replace the old behavior with a new one that is more aligned with your goals. For instance, instead of eating when you feel stressed, you might choose to practice deep breathing or take a walk. By identifying and changing the trigger response pattern, you can begin to replace the old habit with a new, healthier one. Accountability is another powerful tool when it comes to changing habits. Having someone to share your goals with and hold you accountable can significantly increase your chances of success. This could be a friend, a family member, or even a coach or mentor. When you know that someone else is supporting you and checking in on your progress, you are more likely to stay committed to your new habit. Accountability helps to reinforce your commitment and keeps you focused on your goals even when you face challenges or setbacks. In addition to accountability, it's also important to celebrate small victories along the way. Change is hard, and the process of developing new habits can be challenging. It's easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate results or if you slip up along the way. However, every small step you take toward your goal is progress, and it deserves to be acknowledged. Celebrating your successes, no matter how small, helps to reinforce the new habit and keeps you motivated to continue. Another key to habit transformation is self-compassion. Many people struggle to change their habits because they are overly critical of themselves when they slip up or make mistakes. Instead of beating yourself up when you fall short of your goals, practice self-compassion. Understand that changing habits is a process and setbacks are a normal part of that process. Be kind to yourself and treat yourself with the same compassion that you would offer to a friend. When you approach habit change with patience and understanding, you are more likely to stay committed to the process and make lasting change. Visualization is also a powerful tool for habit formation. The brain cannot distinguish between an experience that is real and one that is vividly imagined. By visualizing yourself successfully engaging in your new habit, you are training your brain to create the neural pathways that support that behavior. For example, if your goal is to meditate every morning, take a few moments each day to visualize yourself sitting in a peaceful space, focusing on your breath and feeling calm and centered. The more vividly you imagine the experience, the more likely it is that you will follow through with the behavior in real life. Another useful technique for changing habits is habit stacking. This involves linking a new habit to an existing habit that you already do regularly. For example, if you already drink a cup of coffee every morning, you could stack a new habit, such as journaling immediately after your coffee. By associating the new habit with something that is already part of your routine, you increase the chances of success. The key is to find an existing habit that is already deeply ingrained and use it as a cue to trigger the new behavior. Ultimately, the power of habit lies in its ability to shape our lives. The habits we engage in daily dictate the trajectory of our future. By understanding how habits are formed and taking deliberate steps to change them, we have the power to create lasting transformation. Whether you want to develop healthy habits, overcome negative patterns, or align your actions with your higher purpose, changing your habits is one of the most effective ways to create the life you desire. By focusing on awareness, consistency, small changes, and self-compassion, you can build a new life one habit at a time. With consistent effort and the right strategies, you can rewrite the story of your life and become the person you've always wanted to be. The key is to begin today with a small step forward in creating a new habit that supports your growth and transformation.